Hey everyone, this is going to be a video to show you how to highlight duplicates within your dataset, but only after the first time that variable shows up. For an example, in this list here, I have 1. The first instance is not highlighted, but the next time it shows up, it is. Same thing with 2. Not highlighted the first time it shows up, but then it is later in the list. And then the beauty of this is as the list grows, it's going to continue with these same rules. So for sake of this demonstration, I'm going to get rid of those 2 instances, and I'm going to show you the formula that I used here, just for those of you that are strictly interested in how to make this happen. And then for those of you that are interested in how that formula is actually creating this scenario, I'll go into more detail after the fact. The first step is to highlight the data set in question. And this is going to be true even if you want the highlighting rules to continue as you add data. The first step is to highlight the data set in question, and then you're going to go to conditional formatting and then new rule. Within new rule, you're going to go down to use a formula to determine which cells to format, and then you're going to get a bar to put your formula, and then you can choose however you want to format your second and third and fourth duplicates. So for this case, I went in here and just selected orange, and that's why there's an orange highlight on the second and third and beyond variables that are duplicates. So I'm going to go ahead and close this, and then this is where you're going to type your formula, but for sake of speed I'm going to close this out and just show you the formula that I used. So I'm going to go to manage rules, and then this is the rule that I created. So this applies to B2 through B15, happens by nature of you highlighting the data in question. And then the formula that you want to put in is 1 minus open parentheses is number open parentheses match B2 unlocked, so no dollar signs, comma, and then this is where it gets a little tricky. You want to lock in B1, or the cell above the cell references in question. So in this case, 1 is my first data cell in question, so I'm going to go up to B1. I'm going to lock that in place by putting question or dollar sign in front of the B and in front of the 1, then a colon, and then repeat B1, but do not put the dollar sign, so that as it keeps going down the list, it extends with the list itself. Then after the B1 that you haven't locked, you're going to put a comma in, then a 0, 3 close parentheses, and then less than 1. When you hit OK, this should still say B2 to B15, and then hit apply and hit OK. And then you will have the same scenario as I have here, where the second and beyond instances of duplicates will be highlighted, and you'll be able to have like a living list where if I type in another duplicate that exists earlier in the list, it will automatically highlight. But if I write another variable that hasn't occurred, it doesn't highlight, and then the next time I show it, it will. So that is simply how to do it if you're only interested in what formula to type in. So again, it's going to be 1 minus open paren is number open paren match open paren the first number within your data set, the cell reference, so B2, and then a comma, then a cell above that first variable cell locked in place with dollar signs, and then colon, same cell reference but without the dollar sign, comma 0, close parentheses, close parentheses, close parentheses, less than 1. So for those of you that just strictly want to know the formula, that's how to do it. For those of you that want to know how it works, I'm going to show you here off to the side by creating those formulas in segments to the right of the original data set. So the first thing I want to bring into question here is the match formula. And so within that formula, I basically match the first cell against the cell just above it locked in place, and then a colon, and then the same cell. So when I put a colon in, actually it got rid of my locked in formula, so I have to go back and add that in. So that locks in the dollar sign B, dollar sign 1, and then B1 again, and then for exact match I'm going to select 0. So when I do this, you'll see something interesting happen here. You'll get not applicable on everything except for the ones that we actually highlight. So the ones that are highlighted have a number associated with them. And you can see what's happening here. So match, it's trying to match B1 against B1 to B1. 1 doesn't occur there, so it's not applicable. It then goes down to 2. Since it's locked in place, it's going to stay at B1 and drag down to B2. And it's looking above it for a duplicate of 2, which it doesn't find. It's not applicable. Same thing happens with 3, 4, and 5. It keeps looking at the range of cells just above it to find a duplicate, and it doesn't occur until B7 here, where it looks above it itself and finds that 1 exists in cell B2, or 2 cells down. So that's why we get a 2 here. Same thing here with 2. It finds 2 3 cells down, so it tells you what within the match function what cell it finds it in. It might also be easier if I show you the formula. So I'm hitting F2 to show you the formula. I hit match. It's looking for B9, which is the word 2, in the cells above it, starting in B1, dragged all the way down until the cell right before the number 2, or the word 2. And then the 0 is just for an exact match. So that's how we're getting these numbers to show up when the duplicate occurs above it. But the problem occurs here with this formula because we're getting all these not applicables. And so to get rid of the not applicables, I use is number. So equals is number, the one to the right of it, or sorry, to the left of it, it's going to give me a true false here. And true false in Excel is also known, or is also the number 1 and 0. So false is 0, true is 1. So for instance, if I do false, or sorry, I'll do equals 1 minus false, I should get 1. If I do 1 minus true, I should get 0 because true equals 1. So 1 minus true should equal 0, which it does. Same thing, if I scroll this all the way down, every time I hit true, I get a 0. And so that's why the Boolean function within our conditional formatting in the manage rules, oops, sorry, I gotta do the highlighted cells, conditional formatting, manage rules. That's why I have this less than 1 here. So it's basically saying 1 minus this entire formula, which is occurring here, will be less. If it is less than 1, I want it to highlight in orange. So in every instance where I get true, 1 minus 1 would be equal 0, or less than 1. So it's going to highlight your number here. So that's why this formula is working. Probably more information than a lot of you wanted to know. So hopefully for those of you, you just signed out or clicked out when I went into this level of detail. But hopefully this helps, because the default format only unique or duplicate values is a cool function, but the problem is it will also highlight the first time that that duplicate occurs. So if you're looking to delete duplicates but keep at least one instance within your list, that's why this is such a powerful use of conditional formatting, because you can go through and then just simply delete the duplicates after they occur, and your living list will still continue with that conditional formatting. Thanks a lot for watching. If this helped, I really appreciate the subscribe. Thanks a lot.